What you're hearing isn't the sound of wolves that we hear and see about on TV. This howl is specifically the American red wolf. Many people have never heard of the red wolves, but they are similar to their gray cousins that come to our minds. It may come as a surprise that red wolves once roamed areas spanning across the entire East Coast and were the top predators in their area. Over the last few decades, red wolves have become extremely rare to find. There are only 20 documented red wolves left in the wild, and the numbers are still declining. Throughout this documentary, we will learn about their habitats, range, and what the future of survival looks like for these animals. Take a moment to appreciate this footage of a wild American red wolf howling. Kim Wheeler is the director of the Red Wolf Coalition and says that a lot of the difficulty comes from the communities that these few wolves reside in.
North Carolina has the only wild population in the world. Just to give you an idea, right now we have 10 known collared wolves. When I started with the coalition in 2005, we had 130 animals on the landscape here in the 5 counties. And of that 1.7 million acres, 65% was private landowners. They lost most, if not all, of their landowner support. A red wolf born in the spring, by the time hunting season, they're sometimes about the size of a coyote. There's open season on coyotes every day. You can shoot them any day of the week. They're considered a nuisance. What I find interesting is it's not so much hunters. It's locals that all of a sudden feel like their rights, their landowner rights have been violated. They feel like having these wolves on the landscape and not being able to shoot is a violation of their rights.
As Kim described, it has been a tough battle to proactively save the few wolves left in the wild. A main concern seems to be people's hesitance toward the concept of wolves being in their area. Kelsey Roomley, the education manager at the Endangered Wolf Center, says that these animals could be the key to rebuilding an ecosystem. She says red wolves have the potential to alleviate ecological pests like feral hogs and coyotes that may damage farmland. They are a keystone species, much like the gray wolves in Yellowstone.
When I first wrote about the red wolves, they were doing great. I think I first wrote about them in like the late 90s. A few years later, this crisis developed where their population started crashing. They had a pretty large range, but then in the 1800s, they started being hunted. Wolves did not do well with hunters, and that's why they were mostly wiped out.
While nearly unknown to the public, the American red wolf is still not only important to us, but we are important to it. This is Kevin Seabrook for the Palmetto Report.